high or something from the weed blowing all on the poor little guy. He never complained, of course. I mean, we went around everywhere. Haight-Ashbury, with the white folks, we went all over. We just me and him. I'm in a little retirement. And then after that, I figured out what to do. That's when we come out with East Oakland Enterprises. Yeah, that we're going to do the same thing. We didn't know Martin Luther King was talking the same talk in Chicago almost the same day. But you know where people are, they get ideas. There's a collective mentality going on a lot of things. And they get the feel. And I'm telling you, what he wanted to do when he went to Chicago, he wanted to have a black economic enterprise zone. That's what we did in Oakland. We just called it East Oakland Enterprises. And it worked very well. And it was 1968, and by 71, the government had just about knocked the Panther Party over. Then they looked at me. They said, this nigga is playing. They talking more about them than they do about the party. And they like him because the police would bother people. They said, we're going to call Big Hank on you because the police. And so anyway. So we had to deal with Boss Man. But that stuff about going through that stuff, man, you get a wonderful feeling. And now, the way I'm talking about it now, this sounds like a lot of fun. And it has been a lot of fun for the last 30 years or so. But for them other years, that wasn't fun. Your eyes was getting big, you know what I mean? You're dealing with it, but it was serious. It was how people dealt with, So anyway, we dealt with that. The other thing is time for half measures is done. Time for half measures. Look at the world today, the world right now. Where are the Muslims dealing with Palestine? Remember the demonstrations we used to have? Where are they at? They haven't decreased, they didn't increase what they're doing to Palestine. They haven't decreased, and I believe that their increase comes along with our silence. Look at Yemen. Look at America and the Zionists. The America destroyed Iraq twice. Come through in 91 and just obliterated the whole place, put an embargo on it, and the embargo killed 750,000 Iraqis, mostly children. And Madeleine Albright, you remember they asked her, she said, I think it's worth it. Well, I'll be doggone. And that wasn't enough. They came back in 2003 and rolled on, man, that is brutal, that is inhumane, that is unmentionable that somebody would be that cruel. And they know they lying. Right? They know ain't no weapons of mass destruction. They know, he asked April Gillespie, Saddam, hey, this guy's acting funny. What happened was, Saddam was getting mad at the Arabs. Saudi Arabia had gave him 33 or $50 billion at that time. And then what's the name? It gave him $33 billion. Yeah, Kuwait. So now he coming, they all lie so bad. Remember the little Kuwaiti ambassador's daughter was talking about little babies being snatched out. These people lie so bad, and you know what? That's okay. Well, we're not putting up with that. We didn't put up with it then, and we wanted to cruise to see what was going on. Where's everybody at? Plus, we wanted to develop our own We knew we had arrived a little bit when we were able to deal with that assault in Oakland. We're home free because now we can. I didn't even never talk to any of my friends about it because they wouldn't even understand it. You know what I mean? Because the response would be just like my sons. You have to do something about that. I don't have to do nothing about nothing, because that's a Negro. The white man told him to do it. So you got to stop You got to stop the Zionist American system. Because that big sign outside of our place, Islamic Institute for Counter-Zionist American Psychological Warfare. When I came out one morning, I looked down the street where the sign was, and it was gone. So Mukhtar knocked that down. Why was all the stuff about that? Right? Anyway, let me speed up. Time for half measures is over. Somebody has to deal with the Zionists. We have a lot of history with them, so that's our job. That's our job, sure. Everybody else can be scared of them, but that don't mean we have to be. We're not, we're just not afraid of the Zionists. And we're just not. Just like we're not afraid of America. We're just not afraid of it. Because after you done going around about 500 rounds with a joker, you ain't scared of him no more. And in the early years, see, nobody stayed with him long enough to lose that fear of the system or uncomfortableness of fighting it. We've been doing it so long that we feel uncomfortable if we're not doing it. Yeah. Global strategy of Islam, independent movement, strategic counteroffensive. That's what we're doing now. This is a strategic counteroffensive. And all the property and everything around here will be upgraded. When we talk about Imam Tufail Strategic Management Center, right? That's what that'll be right over there. And all of this will be the first stage. The stuff around here will be the first stage of the struggle. The upgrade here is just the beginning. If you would ask somebody 20, 25 years ago about, say, the stuff that was going on here 10 years ago, they wouldn't have believed it because nobody in D.C. did nothing. So they would say, what, all that you can't do that. And then own it, and then Negroes too, right? Everybody else had to buy people's stuff, or they was renting. Or the ones that was locked in was right over there on New Jersey, which is good, but I don't know if you remember during the 90s, everybody was going over there for Salatul Juma. I don't know if you remember, but I know somebody said something about George Bush is an honorable man, and the whole thing people went crazy because it was more than the pioneers there. That's when everybody went there, because everything else had been closed down. Can you imagine how dirty D.C. was? They had everybody close down their masjid. Then they say, come to the Islamic Center. We've taken that over. And they knew once you close down your masjid and lose your independence, you can't do it again. The only one that kept anything was Masjid Muhammad. Then when we came, we opened up. And everything we did, it was a kind of a Salafi joint over there. If we sold banana date shakes, they would try to do it. And I would tell them, you can't use green bananas. Just green bananas you got there. I said, actually, just let them get about 2 weeks. The older they get, the better. Long as the people don't see them, if they're long as they're going to like the taste because it's sweet. You know what I mean? So just blend up a big batch of concentrate and have it there, and then mix it with a little ice cream, and couple of dates and, a little milk or water and hook them up. They didn't do that. Anyway, I said, you got green bananas. Green bananas don't taste good. Well, if you're eating green bananas like down in the South, they eat the plantanos. It's okay, but okay, anyway, so they didn't listen. And anyway, that's the way things went. Okay. Well, now with this flyer, we want a photo on that. Like a photo. As long as it get all on one page, that'll be fine. Okay. Global strategy. Da, 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 da. Okay, we're fighting for the global movement. Actually, we're carrying on with what, and notice nobody else have even remembered. Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui, if you read all of his writings, he talked the Majlis Ashura Islamiyya fi Britannica was a non-territorial government. People talked about it, Al-Amudi and them, all the big groups, but they never tried it. Why? Because a non-territorial government is a big deal. You're not controlling the territory, but you're controlling zakat. You have some authority. That's what he was doing in England. And guess what? When Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui passed away and I went back to South Africa, I said, okay. And they was having all the trouble in London and all that. I say, well, we ought to straighten that up. And Zafa Bangash and all of them said, we got something else we're going to do on the side. And I trusted it. I said, well, it's going to be the same thing. It ain't the same thing. They didn't do nothing. And you don't hear about it no more. You don't hear nothing about it. And it was what we needed at that time. Actually, what we need right now. But everybody remember the movement is going this fast, creating a new global system. Creating global something or other of Islam. Yeah, new civilization is, yeah. Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui thought like that. We think like that. That's why Dr. Siddiqui didn't choose none of them. Because they didn't think like that. And to prove it, they made sure, I don't care how much money they have and nothing, they made absolutely no move on that. None. Okay. And you can see why they would all turn, everybody was there listening. Muhammad Al-Asi, where's he at? Zafar Bangash, you see him every now and then on press TV and stuff. But he didn't reorganize the whole Eurocentric crew up there, in Canada. And the poor brother has nothing to do with it. That's all right. The Oakland story, that's the greatest story ever told. Boy, I'm telling you, we're going to tell that over and over again. The Oakland story, hey, when we talk about the Stalingrad, that is the Stalingrad. That Oakland, that was the most serious battle in World War II. And that broke the back of the Wehrmacht, the German onslaught. When the Russians wrapped them up, the Eastern Front, when they wanted to punish you in Germany, they wouldn't send you to the Western Front like France and all that. They'd send you to the Eastern Front with them Russians. And it took them a minute, boy, but they came on by 44, 45, they was in Berlin. And all of that way, fighting. Can you imagine? 5 out of every 6 Germans that was killed on the Eastern Front. They fought in Africa, they fought in Europe, they fought all in Netherlands, up in Scandinavia. And there ain't nothing. The Russians burn they behind. Now, through the Negro trapezoiciousness, yes, this is what it is. We trapped everybody. Ain't nothing they can do about it. We trapped all of them. As this has not happened. Okay, look at the history. Read Black history. Ain't nobody ever trapped everybody openly. We did. That's what we was doing all this time. And this time was a kind of just a reminder, checking it out, and get a feel. When it's time for you to go, like now, it's time to go. Can't nobody rest and take it easy and cruise. Not now, because it's all unfolded. The way I feel about it is all over.